Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to talk about one of the core aspects of your human design chart that tells you all about your personality and the role that you came here to play. It's one of the first things that I noticed when I first saw my body graph chart because of its fraction looking appearance, and I had no idea what it was. And with that hint, you'll probably know that I am talking all about your profile in human design. So by the end of this video, you'll learn the answers to the following questions. What are profiles? How is your profile determined? What do the numbers mean in your profile? What insights can your profile tell you? How can you use it in your life? And how do you learn more about your profile? So if you enjoy this video and want to continue to learn and deepen your understanding of human design, I'd be so grateful if you could show me some love, hit that like button, and subscribe to my channel. And with that said, hi, my name is Crystal Alfarero, and I'm a human design teacher and guide helping others step away from the hustle and get into flow with human design. Now, profiles are one of those things in human design that gives us a unique insight into how we think and learn and how we move around in the world. It's one of those things that we can't really do anything about, but nonetheless, it gives us perspective as to why we are the way we are, so that we can gain a deeper understanding and awareness of ourselves, clear up some potential inner conflict, and also become more self-accepting. So that's enough rambling. Let's just dive right in. So what are profiles? Like I mentioned in the intro, your profile in human design is basically the role that you came here to play. It's your personality in the storyline of your life. Your personality profile is made up of two different numbers from 1 to 6 that form what looks like a fraction. And each of these 6 numbers are called lines, which originate from the hexagram of the Chinese I Ching. Each of these lines represents a different archetype in human design. And an archetype basically describes certain patterns of behaviors, or in other words, a very typical example of a certain thing or person, very similar to what you would find with astrological signs or personality tests like the MBTI and the Enneagram. So those are archetypes. The first number of the fraction represents your conscious personality, your mind, and how you think. The second number represents your unconscious design, your body, and how you experience the physical world. So to illustrate that, here's an example of my 1-3 profile and how it has played out in my life. So first, let's just give you some context. I have always been kind of the black sheep of my family that went against the traditional path and the societal norms. And my parents, especially when I was younger, and even sometimes now, and I'm 31, often perceive me to be impulsive and careless because of some of the things that I've just dived into. So one example is leaving my stable corporate job as a CPA to move alone to Spain and find a job teaching English. So yeah, that was kind of scary for them. But another example would be when I left my corporate bank job to move back to Spain with my daughter and my husband and go full-time with my online business without a stable income. So from an external lens and that unconscious view that others have of me, a lot of people thought I was just kind of dreaming, or that I was just kind of going crazy and throwing things away without any guarantee or security. Because remember, the unconscious side is how others see you. So for me, it's that line 3, that martyr. But the reality was that I had followed my authority and my intuition, and before totally acting on it, I did a ton of investigation and research. So that's that line 1, investigator, before just diving right in. And that's what other people don't necessarily see on the outside. Because remember, that conscious line 1 is all about your mind and how you think. And so to summarize my experience as a 1-3, it's almost like people see me externally as this free spirit just carelessly jumping into things, but deep down inside, I feel secure in my decisions because I've done enough research and preparation to back myself up. And yeah, we'll get into what all these lines and stuff mean, so don't worry if this didn't make sense at first. Next, how is your profile determined? Well, your profile is determined by the gate where your conscious personality sun and your unconscious design sun are found in your chart. So for example, if you look at this chart right here, you take the decimal number of the gate on the right side, in other words, your unconscious personality sun gate, and then you take the decimal number on the left side, in other words, from your unconscious design sun gate, and when you put it together, you get your profile. What do the numbers mean in your profile? Like I mentioned earlier, each of these 6 numbers represents a different archetype in human design. And I won't be going into these lines super in depth, but I still wanted to give you an overview. So the first line, investigator, is the type to constantly be researching, investigating, and really seeking that solid foundation of information in order to feel secure and confident. The second line, hermit, is introverted, sometimes antisocial, and needs alone time. And the hermit is also very naturally talented and tends to wait for the right call to come out and share their gifts with others. The third line, martyr, lives life through a trial and error process, loves to dive into things and experiment despite what others say so that they can come to their own truth and conclusions. The fourth line, opportunist, is someone who highly values connections and their relationships and may find that most of their opportunities in their life come from their network. The fifth line, heretic, has an attractive aura that really projects onto others that they have the solutions to their problems and that they are here to save the day. And lastly, the sixth line, role model, is that wise Buddha archetype that goes through a unique 3-stage life process where the first 30 years are experienced as a line 3 martyr. So through that trial and error process, and all of this leads them to evolving into a great role model, sharing wisdom with others. Altogether, these 6 lines make up a total of 12 different human design archetypes, or in other words, 12 different profiles. If you've seen my video on incarnation crosses, which I'll link down in the description for you below, you'll also know that your profile will determine whether you have a personal, fixed fate, or transpersonal destiny. What you'll notice is that if the first number is lower than the second number, then you will have a personal destiny, like all the profiles in the first column that you see. If the first number is higher than the second number, then you will have a fixed fate or transpersonal destiny, as you can see in the second and third column. To be honest, I thought it would be overkill if I went through every single one of these profiles in this video, which is why I created a free human design cheat sheet for you, which not only includes a summary of all the 5 energy types, 7 authorities, and 9 energy centers, but also a brief description of each of the 12 profiles so that you have something to quickly and easily reference. And the link to download your free human design cheat sheet is also down in the description for you below. So let me know what your profile is down below in the comments and whether you resonate with yours. What insights can your profile tell you? Well, your profile can tell you what you're meant to externalize, or in other words, share and express with others. The line 1 investigator is here to share information and their findings from their research and their studies and their investigations. The line 2 hermit is here to share their natural talents, whatever that might be, when they're called and when it's correct for them to do so. The third line, martyr, is here to share their experiences and what they've discovered through their trial and error way of life, what works and what doesn't. The line 4, opportunist, is here to create connections with others, and depending on what other line is in their chart, to really share their knowledge, their wisdom, and solutions to their network. The line 5, heretic, is here to create new and impactful norms and offer solutions to those who are correct for them to serve. And lastly, the line 6, role model, is here to gather experiences in their early years and share their wisdom with others. And so just to clarify, I know I've been saying, when it's correct for you to do so. So really what this means by correctness is really leaning on your type and your authority to help guide you in determining when to externalize your thoughts or your talents and wisdom, or whatever the case may be. Know that when you are living your design, these things will come naturally to you. So rather than forcing yourself to do them more, you can use these kind of as signposts to check in with yourself to see whether there is something that you're holding back from. So how can you use your profile and apply it in your life? Well, with your profile, there is nothing that you need to do because this is just naturally how you experience and move through life, especially as you experiment with your strategy and authority and live life in alignment to your true self. However, knowing it can definitely give you a deeper awareness of your patterns and often dissolve internal conflicts that you might feel into understanding and acceptance. This can happen a lot, especially in the cases of types when you have 2 sides that are pretty much polar opposites, such as the 2-4 or the 4-2 profiles, which include both the 2 hermit, so the antisocial, and the 4 opportunist, that social archetype. And for me, as a 1-3 investigator martyr profile, I've been able to really understand my need to feel prepared and investigate and accept this as a normal part of my process, while also bringing awareness to the fact that It's impossible to know everything 100% before taking action, and to not let that get in the way of starting something and sharing. And even reflecting back on my unconscious 3 side, I can definitely see how this has gotten me into a lot of trouble in the past, and how some people may have perceived me to be rebellious, stubborn, or impulsive. But rather than seeing myself in that light, I know that diving into things, that trial and error process and making mistakes, is actually correct for me. And it's how I gather those experiences and wisdom that can be shared with others. How can you learn more about your individual profile? So if you want to start digging into your profile more, there are definitely 2 books that I'd recommend starting with. So the first book here is The Definitive Guide to Human Design, and this is like the official human design book. Then I would also recommend this one because it's very digestible, and it's from Cheetah Parkin. If you can see it there, it's called, Discover the Person You Were Born to Be. And another option if you're wanting to dig into the other areas of your chart without having to sift through all of this information is to simply get a human design reading. And if this is you and you're wanting to get that extra help to understand the depths of your own chart and to really see your potential, I do offer one-to-one readings that include a 60-minute Zoom call, plus you get a 30+ page human design blueprint of your own design. And it's really for your own reflection and learning that you can always use as your resource guide. And I'll leave all of that information and a link for you in the description down below. And this sadly brings me to the end of this episode, where we answered the following questions. What are profiles? How is your profile determined? What do the numbers mean in your profile? What insights can your profile tell you? And how can you apply it in real life? And lastly, how to learn more about your own individual profile. So if you enjoyed this video, I'd be so grateful if you could show me some love, hit that like button, and hit subscribe to continue learning more about the wonderful human design system. So have an amazing day or evening, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye.